Hi everyone, welcome back at Charlotte from At Charlotte's House. I am standing in the backyard looking at my project for the week. I cannot wait to show you what I did with this shed. Stay tuned. I have said it over and over again. I was fully expecting to get rid of this thing, but upon closer examination, it's in perfect shape. So all I needed to do was give it a little love. I can't wait to show you everything I did to bring this shed back to life on a budget. All in, I think this probably cost me $75, and I have a brand new, perfectly useful, functional, great looking shed. I couldn't be happier. This was how the backyard looked when I first bought the house. That right there is the garage, and then in the distance you can see that weird sort of lattice situation and a swing, and that is blocking the shed. So it was sort of overgrown and nasty. The first thing I did was to go back and suss out the lattice. It was in bad shape. It was coming loose from the post. So I took that apart. Inexplicably, some of the posts were not anchored in anything. So I was able to just wiggle them around and then pull them up. And then there were two that were in concrete. So I had to come back with my chainsaw. I cut them flush to the ground. It's not worth digging it up. I'll just cut it flush and then I can fill it in. It came out pretty easily. I have this steel mini chainsaw. If you want a link, I can provide it to you. It is so handy. It is battery operated. I use it for everything. It is lightweight. So as a woman, I feel really comfortable holding it. And it comes in clutch for moments like this. I'm doing the same thing to this swing apparatus. I tried to cut that swing thing into a couple different parts, but it was just taking too long. So it was honestly easier just to kind of go old school and hoist it over towards the dumpster. And I got it in. So that was my workout for the day. Now that I've cleared out all the stuff that was around it, I actually like the shape of this shed. And if you picture this a different color, it could be super cute. I'm gonna paint this guy. I'm gonna do some simple landscaping. I'm gonna clear up the weeds that are around it. And truly, I think this is going to be such a big glow up, and I can't wait to get started. I would say the shed is about 10 by 10, so it provides amazing storage. There is another gate in the back of the property, so you could park your car and bring things right in here. So honestly, I think this shed is perfect. It's not worth trying to get rid of, and I think it'll be a really, really easy makeover. So I have some special paint that I'm gonna put right on top of it that is going to help prevent any further rust. Subfloor is in pretty good shape. This is fine for extra storage. And this is a perfectly good working shed. My goal for this shed is to essentially just clean it up and make it go away as much as possible. It is a metal shed, so there are early signs of rust, but it's fairly cosmetic. So I am going to paint that with a rust-stopping paint. The roof is in great shape, and honestly, the base is in great shape. It just needs to be cleaned up. So all of that is great news. A big part of the makeover is just to clear out the debris and the stuff that is sitting on the shed. So this bush in the background is entirely thorns. Also, do you know those little burrs that get stuck on you? There were some of those. They are sent straight from the devil. Here I am covering it with a drop cloth so that I could get back there with my body and cut through it with my reciprocating saw. That actually seemed to work. And then I'm using a little rake to pull the whole thing out so it can go right into the dumpster. So these plants, a lot of people on my Instagram thought were rhubarb. I put them into the plant finder feature in my photos app, and they're definitely not rhubarb. There's nothing about this backyard that is useful. This is a definite weed, so that went. So now it's time for the fun part, which is pressure washing. I love my pressure washer. It is so satisfying. Just look at that. Is there anything better? No, there is not. I'll answer that for you. I have a Ryobi pressure washer that I've had for a year. It works amazing. And I was able to go back through and clean up some of the mold that had grown on the outside. That's pretty common. I was actually able to go and remove some of the mildew and stuff that had accumulated on the pressure treated base as well, which makes it look so much better and just gives it a little bit more air to breathe. Here I am working on the door. Obviously, you can see I'm just working my way around. And again, it felt so good just to clean this thing off. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have done the roof first, because as soon as I started cleaning the roof, some of the debris kind of rinsed down onto the walls of the shed, but that's okay. It wasn't a big deal, but it occurred to me as I was cleaning the roof that I should have worked from the top down. I realized as I was cleaning the roof that I'm actually not gonna bother painting it. The roof is a slightly different material. It is in great shape. There's no signs of mold or anything, and I don't think I would have been able to paint it particularly easily, so that is done. These are some random flagstones that were just in the dirt. I'm sure they were under the swing, but I'm gonna pull them out and I'm gonna save them for later. This is a peek at the paint I'm using. It is an oil-based paint, so it is stinky. You'll note that there are 2 different finishes. That's not the greatest idea, but I was able to mix them and I think they look fine. Here's a fun fact about paint. Technically, it's not ideal to shake it. I know they do it at the paint store, but when you shake your own paint, you risk getting air bubbles in there, so it's always a better idea just to stir it if you can. And here's the color. I mixed the flat black with the glossier gray. I didn't want to go entirely black, otherwise I just would have used the flat black. I wanted a little bit of sheen and I wanted it to be a little bit lighter than black. And honestly, this is even a little bit darker than I wanted, but it totally works fine. They didn't have quite the right paint at the store and I just wanted to be done with it. So I'm using a combination of a brush made for oil paint to get into the nooks and crannies, and then just a simple small foam roller. And this took me one afternoon. And I was able to basically do 1 coat. There were places that I had to go back and touch up, but because I'm using such a dark color, the coverage was great. I'm sure there's someone that's gonna tell me I should be wearing a mask, but honestly, there was a little bit of a breeze. You can tell because there was stuff sticking to my wet paint. And I was working outside, so the smell didn't really bother me at all, but if you're really susceptible to that, then obviously use a mask. I wanna tell you that I'm one of these people that is super neat and clean when it comes to working with my materials. I am not. Oil paint is a pain in the neck to clean up, so whenever I use it, I essentially just plan on throwing out my materials. So I used 1 foam roller and 1 brush, and I popped them right in the dumpster once they had dried, and I had saturated them with a little bit of water. I'm bringing in a couple of plants. I just got a few assorted hostas. These are like $5, $6 each at Home Depot. They will grow to be about 2 feet tall, 2 feet wide, and they love this shady environment. I've had these before in my own yard. They grow pretty fast, and I just love them. Unfortunately, our current house has too many deer, and I have been told that hosta are like candy for deer, so they're perfect for this yard because it's fenced in. They are not perfect for my yard at home, unfortunately. Well, there's definitely a little critter who's made residence under the shed because when I painted, I filled that in. I thought it would be cute to bring in a little barn light for above the door, so I got one on Amazon that is solar powered. I started to install it and my drill immediately died, so I had to come back the next day to finish it up. I just think it's a sweet little detail that gives a little interest to the shed, and for $20, for me, it was worth it. It is the most beautiful day. And the shed is finished and I hear birds chirping and I want to show you. It just feels happy in this backyard, and the shed looks like an entirely new structure. It couldn't be cuter. Do you want to see it? Yeah, let's go. After a couple days of work, look what I have. I am so excited by this transformation. I honestly don't think that I spent more than $75 on this. The plants, the paint, the light, that's all. And it took less than a day. Isn't she the cutest? I purposely got hostas that will fill in about 2 feet. So picture these little dinky plants like up to about here. So they're gonna be a nice size there. I moved over some flagstones that were buried just to go in the threshold. That's a little solar barn light that's over the door. I just think it's so much better. I replaced the handle. So now, I don't know, you can actually use it. Someone else is going to move into this house. They're gonna come in and put their own special touches on everything. So this is just what I needed. My favorite part of that shed makeover is that it was short and sweet, cost effective, and I think it packs a giant punch. What used to be a liability in the back of the yard, an overgrown, rusty shed, is now cleaned up, neat, tidy, and it's something that the next homeowner can use right away, and that cost me a day of time and probably $75. Projects like that are exactly what I'm trying to bring to this property. Do you hear the steamer warming up in the background? I have a few hours today and I am still working on wallpaper removal. I am excited to be moving upstairs to begin demo on some of the spaces up there. I have done a lot already, but there is still a long way to go. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you will get notified when I share updates to this house flip series. You can go back and watch my previous episodes. I have talked about demo. I have talked about my plans for the house. I have talked about removing wallpaper. I have talked about landscaping. I have made some good progress, but I have a long way to go. Thank you for cheering me on. I gotta go strip some wallpaper. Have a great day, everyone. Love, and I can't wait to show you all the things I did to bring this shed from blah to yeah. That doesn't work.